Thank you very much for joining today, and we welcome you all to this May meetup for the Scale Up Chapter Canada DevOps Institute sponsored event. We wanted to discuss today the grassroots journey of continuous delivery and deployment. Before we start, I would like to introduce myself and DevOps Institute. So I am one of the DevOps Institute ambassadors. I am also the lead for the Canada chapter for DevOps Institute here. If you are not aware what DevOps Institute is a organization who's steering certifications and consulting in DevOps world, and they have a lot of certifications from the DevOps grassroots perspective as well as from a leadership perspective. So I would highly encourage you to actually go into their site and check out their latest certifications. If you're interested to get yourself certified, we as part of Capital Carbon Consulting do a lot of certifications which are virtually led, and one of our instructors is here today with us, Steve Zeng, and he will walk us through the grassroots journey of continuous delivery and deployment. So let's get started. I would like, Steve, you to start this session by introducing yourself, and then you please kick it off that how should we understand the grassroots journey and what are the key critical components of continuous delivery and deployment. Over to you, Steve.
Okay, thank you, Grandma. Thank you, everyone, to attend the session. First, I'll share my screen. Let me find that. Okay. Oh. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Hello, everyone. Welcome to attend today's session. And today I'm going to talk about continuous delivery and continuous deployment. So when we talk about CD, in fact, there are two concepts, continuous delivery and continuous deployment. The next one, sorry. Okay. Let's see the whole year's agenda. The CD topic is supposed to be in April, but we miss it. Now it's postponed to today, and hope we will have another session in May, so we can catch up with the schedule. If you attended any of my session from January to March, you know me well. And I'm in the IT industry for more than 20 years. Now I work with Capital Carbon Consulting as a DevOps instructor. Okay, that's everything about myself. Okay, let's start today's session. We will begin with the software development process. Now you might realize that everything from the software development process. Okay, there are 5 stages in the process, which is the requirements analysis, system design, and after that development, and then testing, and at last deployment. It looks good, but not really. You can see the screenshot at the left bottom, which here, change to the laser. Okay, which here, the project manager, they tries to plan everything before writing a line of code. The whole team knows that it is impossible to design such a complex project schedule, not to say the requirements are constantly changed. So that's it. But no one say anything. They just let it happen. So that is the reason only about 25% of the project is delivered using the waterfall. Okay, the result, some of the results of the traditional process is slow, which here is slow, buggy, and many repetitive tasks. Okay, why continuous deployment and continuous delivery can help the companies? I can say that CD doesn't fix the problem directly, but with the traditional approach, a company cannot achieve CD's goal without any of the DevOps and Agile methodology and practice. In other words, if one company wants to build a CD pipeline, it must implement the Agile and DevOps. So that means eventually Agile and DevOps saved the life of the company. And in this way, CD indirectly pushes the company to the DevOps. That to say, the company will take many advantages of DevOps. One of them is less chance to a failure. And talking about software failure, here I like to share a story 8 years ago from now. This story is about a company that bankrupt in 45 minutes because of a failed deployment. It's not about a bug. It's not about too slow, something without feedback, something like that. It's just because of deployment. The company's name was Knight Capital Group. The company runs 33, which you can see here. The company runs 3.3 billion trade every day and $21 billion every day. And just before the incident, the company had 365 million in cash and equivalents. From the chart on the right side, you can see the stock price was dropped here, was dropped sharply on August 1st. You might curious that what happened to them, what happened on that day. Let's find out. Before we dig into the incident, let's talk about the application. In 2012, which about 9 years ago, NASDAQ deployed a new platform to improve the trade experience, SMARTS. Here, they gave a name of the application SMARTS, and the platform can split the large transactions into multiple small ones and push them to the companies like Knight Capital. And then Knight Capital breaks the deal even smaller and trades them. Okay, so that is a new launch of NASDAQ platform. And after careful development and thoroughly testing, Knight Capital had enough self-confidence to deploy. Okay, they were not wrong because there was not much bugs in the platform. Okay, and the software runs very well in their testing environment and the staging environment. But when they deploy the whole thing into the production, one developer forgot to deploy the new code to one of their servers. They had 8 servers. You can see here they have 8 servers here, but only 7 of them has a new code. Unfortunately, the 8 servers were not clean. They had a legacy software running at the same time. This software was developed in 2004, which 8 years before the incident. The old the old program will send the purchase request to NASDAQ if the sum amount of the deals less than the mother deal. Okay, so that is the logic of the legacy one. But after NASDAQ upgrade their platform to Mars, the mother deal does not exist anymore. And this is the biggest change. And the Knight Capitals, their new software can perfectly match the requirement of NASDAQ, but not the old one. So you can imagine that without the limitation, because the mother deal does not exist, without the limitation, the legacy software will send the unlimited purchase requests. And this is exactly what was happened in that morning. In only 5 minutes, most of the stock grew more than 10% because one robot here purchase much, right? And everyone realized there must be something wrong. There must be something happened, including Knight Capital. So from the developers, the best guess was there is a bug in their code. So the developers try to debug in the production environments. You are not wrong. They try to debug in a daily $21 billion transactions production environment. Okay, and after 20 minutes, they found nothing. That's true because there are no bugs. Okay, and then the technical lead, he made an important decision. What the decision was, I think if you are working in IT industry, you will very familiar with the decision he was going to make. Rollback. Okay, so rollback is the way when we found something wrong of our new code. Okay, so the developers removed the new software quickly, but they didn't stop the connection from NASDAQ. Now things went even worse. You can see in the past, before they roll back, there was only one server here running the legacy program. But after they roll back, all the 8 servers, all the 8 robots try to drag the company to the deep death. And after 40 minutes, they have a 400 billion loss. That is a whole story. Even it sounds like a science fiction, but when you think about it, you can think about it. Is it possible someday that happens in your company? If you don't have CD, if you still use manual software deployment, that might happen in your company. Okay. And what we learn from the incident, the first one, the most important one, I give it a concept. Every production environment is allergic to human beings. So don't get close to your production environment. Never changes anything manually to the production environment. Use an automation pipeline instead. That is the first thing we learned. Another thing, if you want to, if you have the automation test code, if you want to do the test it in the production. We know that test your code in the development environment or in the staging environment is essential. But if you never test it in your production, it's not you won't have the guarantee that your code will run properly in the production environment. And the last one we learned from the instance, never debug in the production. Okay, if you have something wrong with the production, roll back. And another thing about rollback, if you roll back, make sure where you are, make sure which environment you are. You need to close, you need to switch the trigger of the flow, the data flow, and then try to roll back. Roll back your code and the environment. Never roll back your code without roll back the environment. So that is important. So three things we learned from the incident. Okay, if the I can say that if the company has a CD which continuous delivery or continuous deployment, the instance won't happen. Okay, let's talk about what is CD. CD represents two concepts: continuous delivery and continuous deployment. You might have the question, what's the difference between them? Okay, let's figure it out. Let's start from CI. Okay, if you attended the session in February, you knew CI already. But if you miss it, it doesn't matter. I put the concept here. So the CI concept is here. Basically, CI can help you pull the code, build it, make a package, and run your automation testing to verify and deploy it in your integration testing environment. So that is CI does, the blue loop. CI makes your code releasable. I use the word releasable. I don't use the word release because CI doesn't really release your new program, just to make it releasable. So that is the reason this part is green, is not the blue, is not the essential step in CI. Okay, that is CI. So as I said, CI doesn't do the release, but CD does. Continuous delivery extends CI and deploy the build to your staging environment with here, continuous delivery here. And some companies prefer to call the staging environment UAT environment. So that is the reason I use UAT test here. With UAT refer to user acceptance in acceptance testing environment, UAT. Okay. In the continuous delivery environment, we run the staging test, which UAT test, security test, and performance test. Remember that the staging environment, the UAT environment, is the final gate to the production. Okay, and the right part here, continuous deploy even extends the continuous delivery. It deploys the code to the production environment and runs the production testing. Remember in the last at the last slide, I say if you test it in your production. Continuous deploy will trigger the production testing process. And sometimes the company performs chaos engineering, like A/B testing, green-blue testing, and canary testing in the production environment. And those testing strategy is the release strategy of the production to the production environment. Okay. For the Agile software development, CI here is your baseline, which means it is essential. You can't develop anything without CI implemented. And if your company has a continuous delivery pipeline, here, you reach the mature line, okay? And implementing the continuous deployment or not, that is your company's decision. Sometimes the company wants to control the release schedule. What does this mean? So it is not to say if one company has continuous deployment implemented, that company is advanced than the company with only with a continuous delivery. They are the same. Okay. Moreover, I want to stress the startups, they prefer the continuous deployment because they can release new features at a faster pace. Every time they have a tiny change or a tiny feature finished, because they have an automation pipeline, the tiny feature will go to the production quickly. But most of the company, they want to control the release manually. They don't want to automatically deploy every new feature constantly. They deploy the feature in a batch. So that is the reason your iPhone, you didn't get the update notification every day, every hour. That's not to say the development team of Apple, they run the waterfall. On the contrary, they might have the new features ready every day. But the reason you didn't get the update every day because they control the delivery schedule. Okay, so that is to say most of the startups, they want continuous deployment, but most of the companies, they have the continuous delivery is enough. Okay, so that is the difference. Now you must you have already know CI, continuous delivery, and continuous deployment. The next page, let's talk about the prerequisite of the continuous delivery. First one, culture. Martin Fowler said, even with the best tools, DevOps is just another buzzword if you don't have the right culture. That's true. If we look closer to the culture, it has three tiers. The first one, enterprise executive here. And the second one, cross-functional teams. And the third, design micro teams. Okay. And by the way, two courses of DevOps Institute, DevOps Foundation and DevOps Leader. The two courses will give you more detail about the three tiers of the culture. Okay, that is the first part, the most important part, culture. The next one, automation. Especially automation testing. About the automation testing, there are two practices you can see here. TDD, which refers to test-driven development, and BDD, which refers to behavior-driven development. And if you learn the CDEF course, which continuous delivery ecosystem foundation, this course will give you some information about TDD and BDD and how to implement them. Here, I want to stress TDD and BDD, they are not only methodologies, they have the practices. and some of the platform and some of the framework, no matter you use Java, you use Python, you use .NET, you will get the framework to uh, uh, to use the framework in your code to match the TDD and the BDD platform. Then you can implement the BDD and the TDD. Okay, that is the automation testing. Here, I want to stress automation is the essential of DevOps. Is to say, when we talk about DevOps, I can say when we talk about DevOps, we talk about automation. Okay. The next one, as I said just now, CD is not a standalone platform. By successfully implementing CD, you need some other platforms. The most two important groups are, which first one I put here, the continuous integration. Okay, CI is an essential platform. It is very easy to understand because no matter continuous delivery and continuous deployment, they are the extension of the CI process. So continuous integration is a must-have. The next one is, which I put it in the first place, is the continuous monitoring or continuous analytics and continuous measurement. These are very important because CD is an automation pipeline. You don't want it to be a black box. These two platforms can make your CD pipeline auditable and transparent to you and to your team so that you can know what happens here. Okay, so that is the running together platform. The following prerequisite is the microservices design. We have do and don't. So in the do part, we do built-in quantity. Next time, that can match the methodology of TDD. So next time when you want to develop a new feature, try to think about how to measure, how to test your new feature, and to develop the testing code first. That is a concept of built-in quality. And always with small batches. What does this mean? It means always deploy in a small batch. Don't make a big bang deployment. The third one, automation can do the repetitive work to report bugs and defects. People solve problems. So what does this mean? It means people will contribute their brain to solve the problem. So don't use your developer to do the repetitive work to finding the bugs. We need to have a platform. All the bugs and the defects can be found automatically. Okay, so that is the meaning of automation, do the repetitive work, and the people solve problems. The next one, never stop pursuing continuous improvement. So that is another CI, but not the continuous integration. Continuous improvement means anytime you find anything can make your platform stronger or can make your team stronger, do it. And also this one relevant to the Agile best practice. After each sprint, we have a retrospective meeting to talk about how we can improve our process or improve our code, our technical aspect in the next release. The next one, follow Microservices 12 factors application design practice, which I will show it in the next page. That is do. We need to implement them one by one. So you can take a screenshot of this slide and comparing with your company. Does your company have all of them implemented, or you need something or someone to help you on each of these? The right part, don't. Okay, about the microservices design practice, the first one, don't do the monolithic architect. Although we might have a legacy platform which is a monolithic architect, but you need to change the big mud thing into the microservices design. That is the important thing, the urgent thing you need to do, and don't add new features to the monolithic architecture because it has complicated already. You need to break it, but not to add more things to it. The next one is the water Scrum file. In many companies I consulted in the past 10 years, the managers, they told me they are running Scrum, but in fact, they are running water Scrum fall. So in the DevOps CDEF course, you will learn the detail of water Scrum fall. But here I want to stress that running a Scrum means a feature from the product backlog to the to the production environment is smooth and constantly. But the water Scrum file, we can see clearly three stages. One stage is design. Another stage is development and testing. The last staging is deploy. Okay, so anytime if you found you can clearly see the three stages, you run the water Scrum file. You have more chance to run the water Scrum file. Okay, the last thing is no deployment pipeline. Yes, that means even you have the CI pipeline, but your code cannot deploy to the staging environment. You need to extend your CI to continuous delivery. That is about the microservice design practice. And the next page is the 12 factors application design practice. I want to stress here all the 12 factors, they are practical. They are not the boring methodologies. They are the practical one. I won't walk through them one by one because it is more technical. But if you are a developer, I highly suggest you take a screenshot of the 12 factor application design practices, and then you read it one by one. Try to understand what it is about. So for example, code base. one code base tracked in revision control, many deploys. What does this mean? Sometimes when your company has a lot of product lines, or even in one product line, you have some of um, the component, right? You have modules. So put each module in a separated source control, or all the modules in one source control. Sometimes the the tech lead will think, if we put everything in one place here, this place will grow quickly, and it's hard to maintain. But that is not the right thought, because at the end of the day, no human will maintain it. We will build an automation pipeline. The automation module will know where to get the code, which code it need to get. Okay, but put all the code into one code base is very essential. It will help you to do the all the DevOps practice, no matter the microservices architect or other automation approach. That is the ba- the, the baseline. Okay, so I just now I only give you an example of one part, but the following 11 part are also important. So if you are a developer, try to read it one by one and try to understand what it is talking about. And also in the CDEF course, continuous delivery ecosystem foundation. In this course, we will dig into each of them, so you will know better about the 12-factor application design practices. Okay, that's all for today. So in the next session, we will talk about the continuous monitor. Also, later in the next week, I will launch a webinar to introduce the continuous testing certification. Here, I want to say automation testing becomes hot recently. I learned it from a lot of companies. They try to they try to find someone which understand how to do the DevOps automation testing to enhance their testing team. So if you want to get the continuous testing certificate, you will like the this 20 minutes webinar. Okay. Yeah, this is the last page. Anyone has any questions?
So we had some questions on the chat that will the recording and the presentation will be available. So I would like you to inform that it's available on the YouTube channel, which where we will be placing the recording. So I highly recommend that you subscribe to that YouTube channel, and the presentations will be in downloadable format in the meetup. So if you are interested to have the presentation, you will see something coming in shortly. And with that, I think if we don't have any questions, we can end this session today. Steve, thank you very much. I think this presentation is one of the best presentations I've attended from a continuous delivery and deployment perspective, because a lot of people are talking about a lot of things around CD, but this is really kind of getting you to a point where, as an individual or team, where can you start that journey, and what are the loopholes or the critical aspects where teams and organization fall out.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for this perspective. And I highly recommend that once we announce the webinar for the continuous testing foundation certification overview, if you're interested to start your journey, that is one of the starting points. So I welcome you all to that webinar. Stay connected and stay tuned. We will soon host that webinar through the social media channel. You will get some information around the dates and everything else. So thank you very much, Steve, and thank you all who could join today. It's always pleasure hosting Steve in this forum. We get to know so many things, right?
Yeah.
So, and hopefully we can talk to you this month again with another fresh topic, which is continuous monitoring.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for attending. Okay. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And